Tuesday, September 17th. Welcome to the Damon Brew Show, brought to you by Ike's Sandwiches. It is awesome to have you here. This live stream also being powered by BetUS, and we will hop over to that website and check out some of the games coming up this week. But the big news in the Bay Area, coming off a very frustrating loss for the 49ers in Minnesota. There's another one of those, didn't see it happen. And then the day after you find out a player is hurt, not just like a little hurt, but going to be gone for a couple weeks hurt, and that's Deebo Samuel. Didn't see Deebo get hurt, didn't realize he was hurt, but a calf strain has Kyle Shanahan saying that he's going to miss the next couple of weeks, the next handful of games. Okay, well, I guess we can pretty much kiss off the smooth sailing into 2024 that was promised to everyone after the Super Bowl. Like, oh yeah, we're going to have a really smooth offseason. It'll be nice and easy for Brock. He's going to work out. There'll be no problems. And you look at this schedule, it gets really brutal. There's a gauntlet coming up. We got a nice smooth entry point to the year. There's nothing smooth so far about this. We can see that. Having said all that, Niners are still in pretty good shape, all things considered. And if you're only, in the vacuum of worrying about the Niners to the point where you only consume the NFL through Niner anxiety, I could see why you got some anxiety. Dude, look around the league right now. Look at some of the offenses and the struggling to find the points and the touchdowns and the passing yards. Look around the league and tell me that the 49ers still aren't set up for success. I don't think you can. So, did the degree of difficulty, does it get harder without Deebo Samuel? Of course it does. Of course it does. But this is not the, panic time that some people are trying to sell it to be. Deebo, calf strain, out a few weeks. The sports world is basically reacting to this news in one of two ways, just one of two ways. Brandon Ayuk, blah, 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 or Brock Purdy, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of blah, 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 and I think you can pretty much fill in the blahs yourself because you've heard it all, you've known it all, we've talked about it all, we've chatted it all. By the way, hello to the chat, hello to everyone. Good to see you again. New names, old names, good friends, old friends. Cheers to all of you. Great to see you. Welcome once again. Like and subscribe, my friends. We are, I think, just around 200 away from getting to 2,400 subscribers or so, 200 and change. So I want to be at 2,500 subscribers by Halloween. Like, that's my goal. I got a goal. I kind of said I wanted to get there before the season. Didn't happen. I want to get there by Halloween. Like and subscribe if you would, please. Hit notify. Tell your friends. Share these videos, if you would, with your friends group. That'll help it grow, because I think once you get a little bit of this, you realize, like, oh, some actual discussion of sports, not breathless analysis of sports. It's pretty valuable. I hope you find that valuable. We're also going to talk about how Puff Daddy's going to be going to prison for a long time, it looks like, at the end of this video. So you're going to want to stick around for that. But look, Brandon Ayuk, blah, blah, blah. Brock Purdy, blah, blah, blah. Oh, is that the only way to solve this? Is that it? Brandon Ayuk needs to play. Let me tell you right now, you could have cloned Deebo. You could have had forget about losing a Deebo. You could have produced me an extra Deebo before the Rams game, and I still would have said, Brandon Ayuk, you got to do better than what we've seen in 2 weeks. He's playing himself, hopefully, into shape. He's gotten an awful lot of run out on that field, and it's time for Brandon Ayuk to look like Brandon Ayuk again. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I know that. You know that. I mean, that was the way it was going to be, though, whether Deebo got hurt or not. Ayuk's got 6 catches for 71 yards on 10 targets across 2 games, and that had to get better regardless of Deebo Samuel. Feels like there's more pressure now. Well, look, Juwan Jennings, you're the guy to step up. Chris Conley, is he going to be the guy to step up? Is this time for Jacob Cowing to step up? Ricky Pearsall obviously is a guy that is stashed in the getting better, hopefully as quickly as possible closet, and will be coming back soon to help through this injury of Deebo Samuel. And, the other thing that you're hearing from everyone today is, well, it's got to be Brock Purdy. If you want to know whether or not you should pay Brock Purdy $60 million, well, let's see him as we remove weapons from him now prove that he deserves to be the 49ers quarterback. Like, what are you talking about? We will now see who Brock Purdy really is. This guy's leading the NFL in passing right now. And I think we all agree that the 49ers offense hasn't exactly popped yet. And he's leading the NFL in passing right now. And Brandon Ayuk has stunk so far. Deebo's been good. He hasn't been transcendent. Kittle's been good. He hasn't been transcendent. Not yet. Here's what Brock Purdy does. I really don't think it matters who the target is. A lot of people say, well, here's the only target that matters is the open target. The only target that matters is, how routinely can you present yourself for this guy to throw you a historically accurate ball at the dawn of a young quarterback's career? I don't think Brock Purdy really cares the name about the back of the jersey. He's just looking for hands to get the job done. I think he's going to deliver a good ball as long as people are getting open. I don't think that this is a litmus test onto whether or not Brock Purdy's going to make money next year or not. Because the answer is he could go 0 for Sunday against the Rams. He's making money next year. He's making money next year. So there is no referendum. Brandon Ayuk, blah, blah, blah. Brock Purdy, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you who's really up to getting this done. This is... everyone's coming. Who's going to fill in? Who's going to fill in for Deebo Samuel is the number one topic in Bay Area sports talk radio, national TV shows about football in the NFL. Who is going to be the wide receiver who steps in to get the job done to make sure that this whole thing still goes and blah, 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 blah. Defense. That's who I'm calling on to get the 49ers through these handful of weeks where you're not going to have Deebo or McCaffrey or both of them or one of them for a handful of futures here. This is about defense. This isn't about like, oh, Chris Conley has really got to step up or Brock. We are going to need to see, Jacob Cowing really step up here. Like, what are you talking about? It's time for Nick Bosa to step up, Fred Warner to step up. It's time for Mooney Ward to step up. That's how you're going to get through the Deebo ain't here portion of the season, which, by the way, seems to be baked into every season. So the Deebo ain't here portion of the season, get it out of the way right now, where you got two unbalanced teams coming up in your next two games on the schedule. We'll worry about the rest of the schedule further down the road. I'm only going to look at it through the prism of the next couple of weeks. And I think you got the right opponents coming in. Here's what I'm looking for. You want to know who's got to make up for this Deebo absence? Again, it's the defense that's going to make these games easier to get through than not some, understudy wide receiver. If I'm Kyle Shanahan, I am walking into that defensive room. I'm saying, Brandon Staley, we brought you in for moments like this. Nick Sorensen, we elevated you to defensive coordinator for moments like this. And here's the goal, boys. Here's the plan. I don't want to see a number greater than 17 points on my fucking scoreboard for the next 2 weeks. And that's gospel. Get that shit done. And you got the right opponents to get it done. Bosa was talking about after the game, like, I'll try to do my Nick Bosa impression. Yeah, it's a wake-up call, but we know why it happened. There's a lot to fix, but some good things for sure. The understated Nick Bosa. And he's right. As frustrating as that Vikings game was, and the reason why it was so frustrating is because it was there. It was there for the taking. They just never took it. They didn't get off the field when they needed to as a defense. That can't happen against the Rams now. That can't happen coming up against the New England Patriots. In the next couple of weeks, you got two incredibly unbalanced teams on the schedule. All the Rams do is throw the ball. That's all they do. And then all the Patriots do is run the ball. That's all they do. So you got to deal with half of an offense, basically. You always keep in mind to not get caught off guard, obviously, but the 0-2 Rams, who already have injuries all over the place, are averaging 15 points per game through the 2 games that we played so far, right? They get the second worst rushing attack in the NFL. So it is all in the air with an offense that is having trouble staying healthy. An awful lot of institutional knowledge is on full display from Kyle Shanahan that he knows how to beat Sean McVay teams. All of that needs to be brought to bear at SoFi Stadium, Levi's South, Candlestick South. That's got to happen. There's no letting off the Rams. It's a team that this team knows how to beat. It's your first divisional opponent of the year. Start 1-0 in your division. Get to 2-1. Get past the Rams. Kyle, you know how to do it. You're locked, loaded, ready to go. I'm telling you right now, Jordan Mason, what are they going to do without Christian McCaffrey? Well, Jordan Mason is the NFL's second leading rusher after 2 weeks. So I'm not worried about the ground game at all. Jordan Mason, you got the goods to fill the bill. Go do it again. It's the defense that's got to carry the 49ers through the Deebo absence, because then you got the Patriots, who are 1-1, but they're averaging 18 points per game. They got a bottom 4 passing attack. They run the daylights out of the ball through their first 2 weeks because they really don't have much of an option. These are unbalanced teams that the 49ers are built to beat. Brock Purdy, it's not going to take 3 touchdowns to beat either one of your next 2 opponents. It really shouldn't. And neither the Rams nor the Patriots should be looking north of 17 points on that scoreboard. Of course, it's football. It's difficult. We all know that. But man, scoring is down. Passing is down. Touchdowns are down across this league. And hopefully they don't start picking up for 2 teams that are having trouble finding them anyways up to this point in the year. So you got the right 2 opponents on this schedule to get you through the Deebo ain't here right now news. The Christian McCaffrey ain't here right now news. And again, there was no universe where Brandon Ayuk doing more didn't have to happen anyways. Does this accelerate his timeline of the team needing him to do more right now? Sure, but not really. Because he needed to do more anyways. Like I say, clone me. Give me 2 Deebos for this game. You still need a better Brandon Ayuk than what we've seen so far. And we know it's going to take him, to play himself into shape. Trent Williams, he's going to be better this week, you would assume. And the one group on this team that ain't injured, you don't have an injury to a wide receiver or running back, is this defense. This defense is loaded. This defense is ready. And it hasn't really shown us its fangs quite yet. You got 2 opponents, basically going like this, presenting their necks to the fangs of the 49ers defense. Come sink it in, boys. Don't listen to predictable sports talking points. Brandon Ayuk, blah, blah, blah. Brock Purdy, blah, blah, blah. No, defense, man. Defense. Give me some defense to get this team through its offensive worries. Who's not here right now? That's old school, hairy chest, no joking around football. Solve your offensive shortcomings with a defense that doesn't screw around. That's my kind of football team. You think you got it? You think you got that in you, 49ers? Show it to me. Michael Diaz, Damon, a lot of fans seem to be upset about BA's production, but he's actually is about his game average of 4 or 5 targets a game. That's why I don't think his contract was worth it. Well, that'll step up right now. And here's the deal. If you produce in those 4 or 5 contracts, targets, the contract is what you're going to be paying wide receiver 1 going forward. Doesn't matter how many times you throw him the ball. Doesn't matter what his name is. Doesn't matter if you drafted him or not. Any team's WR1 will be making $30 million a year. This is going rate. It's bus fare. So I'm not worried about the money spent, because you'd be spending that money on the top guy on your depth chart, no matter how you used him, no matter how often you targeted him. That's the price of admission. I need more production. You would think that more production will happen with more targets. You would think that with more targets, because Deebo's not here, all of that's going to happen. I'm still seeking balance. I don't care who isn't playing. This is a run-first football team. You know, you're going to be paying big numbers for everyone on a football team who's good at what they do. Brandon Ayuk's good at what he does. He hasn't been yet, but he will be. He will be. It's a good player. He's a good player. We know it. We've seen it. So hopefully he gets right back to it right now. Again, did we do an official sip of the day? I don't even know. That was really good right there too. Postman in Capitola. Oy, oy, oy! Warner's been carrying this D. It's time for others to step up. Warner's been incredible. He's been incredible so far this year. So, yeah, hopefully he does step it on up. Lots going on in here in this chat. A lot of good people. Let's get a collective effort on Sunday. Thank you very much, Vince. Never daunted, baby. And for his part, Kyle did try to hire Belichick. Yeah, you're talking. He's saying that Brandon Staley needs to be under a microscope. Brandon Staley is the guy who's supposed to make this secondary, a little bit better, a little bit tighter. It came apart. It got shook in Minnesota. Tie it back together. Larry Wong says, cliches win championships. It's the truth. J.J. Connolly, J.J. Stokes, J.J. Ryder. Give me all your J.J.'s. Get it done. Get it done. Purdy and Mahomes have the same number of interceptions right now. Again, everyone's just trying to compare everyone to Patrick Mahomes. I'm not playing the let's measure these two guys against each other game that everybody in the media wants to play at all the time. If you want to measure yourself against, Patrick Mahomes at all times, you're usually going to come up short in every single one of those conversations. Brock Purdy is his own thing. He's his own guy. And he's really good what he does. Apparently, the rest of the world needs to see him win a Super Bowl without, or just win games without any weapons or an offensive line. And should he be able to do that, then they will confer he's good on him status. But there's a staggering pile of statistics to not even suggest, but to prove how good Brock Purdy has been at this. I mean, there's not a single game where I haven't seen a quarterback let go of a football that makes you go so far. I mean, passing is down. It's been a weird year so far. The 49ers are going to be fine. This isn't Deebo done for the year. That would concern me. Deebo gone for a couple of weeks. What do we call that in the Bay Area? We call that Wednesday out here. I mean, that always happens. By the way, it's Tuesday. It's not Wednesday. But, that's just normal. Deebo missing a handful of games in an NFL season. Like, yeah, what else? What else you got for me? That happens every year. Hasn't really deterred the 49ers from the success that they've enjoyed over the last couple of years. So I don't think it's going to be the thing that spins the entire franchise off of its axis, like some people are claiming to be, really worried about. Is Chef A trying to explain what the plus means? Look, the plus is, it's plus and Bruce kind of rhyme together. Plus, the subscriber. It's an inside joke that really probably should be taken to. It's just confusing people at this point. But that's us. That's who we are. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoy being confused. That's what we got for you. As I said, we break for super chats, and here's our first of the day. Damon, I love your lube tube. We'll talk about lube tube with P. Diddy a little bit later on in the show. Love the YouTube channel. Loyal listener since 2006. Any chance of resurrecting the C. Miho soundbite? I don't have it. That one never came home with me. So I'm sorry. I don't have the See Miho soundbite. If you can get somebody from KNBR who can find it from like a decade ago to email it to me, we'll put it in. But thank you very much. And Tommy, thank you for being such an OG listener. I appreciate it. That's a lot of years we spent together. Thank you, A Tommy. Not the Tommy. He's just A Tommy. But thank you very, very much. See Miho. That's the best I can do for you, just off the top. I appreciate you supporting the show with a super chat, with the memberships. Memberships are certainly available if you want to become part of the initiated. It is greatly appreciated. Let me tell you about my good friend Ike. Ike is relaunching an app right now. If you've already installed the Ike's Rewards app, make sure it is updated because it is out. And if you're already downloaded with the app, you get to take advantage of some of the new rewards programs that he's got coming up. I don't know if I'm even supposed to share this with you yet, but there is a big football game in New Orleans in February that will be a contest that somebody is going to win access to on that app. So download that Ike's Rewards app. You are going to be happy that you did. You are going to earn your way to free sandwiches. You are going to get an opportunity to win things like free chips, free drinks for being a loyal rewards member. And he's going to have some incredible contests coming up, not to mention the promo that's going on right now between now and October 5th. Every single Saturday, you can save $3 off any Ike sandwich with the promo code SAT3. Use it in the app, use it in person. Unfortunately, not in the Santa Rosa, San Mateo, or Redwood City locations. I wish those three would get on board. Don't know what's going on there. But Ike has got one of the most delicious sandwiches in the world. I think it's called the Damon Bruce. I'm a big Jamie Sirewich fan. I'm a big Adam Richman fan. I'm a big, there's a Backstabber. That's a great sandwich too. God, they're so good. He's got burgers at the Mission Rock location that are second to none. They're really incredible. Anyways, Ike has got big things coming on his newly redesigned app. Make sure you download it. I've been telling you this for a long time. Make sure you download it now. You don't need any fancy technology to walk on into the Dubliner in West Portal and order a Guinness. All it takes is 2 feet, and, little will to go on to the Dubliner. Great bar, incredible bar. Where are you going for Thursday night football this week? Where are you going for Sunday night? Where are you going to watch that Niners game? Get yourself to the Dubliner West Portal. It is an awesome Irish neighborhood sports bar slashed all together. Bring in your own food, set up, start talking to really good people, and say hi to Kenny. Tell Kenny Damon Bruce sent you. He'll be happy to hear that you heard about it over here on YouTube. And thanks to the Dubliner for supporting what we're doing. And of course, today's live stream is brought to you by BetUS. I told you a little bit about the Thursday night football game that'll get week 3 underway. There it is right there. Look at that Thursday night football game. Patriots, Jets. Ugh. That ain't pretty. That's not. The rest of the schedule is pretty damn good. The rest of the schedule gets sexy. But any teams laying at more than 6 so far are basically cleaning up. You want to put that in your pipe and smoke it. We're not ready to make any plays right now. But let me just show you here on BetUS what you got waiting for you. Sunday, that first of all, Chargers, Steelers, that's a little interesting. Bears and Colts, less interesting. Battle of 2-0 right here. How about this game right here, right? I mean, come on. Texans, Vikings, nearly a pick'em right now. Interesting stuff coming up this week for sure on BetUS. And what I want you to do, my good friends, what I'd love for you to do on BetUS is to sign up using promo code YouTube150 to get a 150% deposit match on your first deposit up to $2,000. Your next 2 deposits up to 125%. So lots of good stuff on BetUS. Easy to use. Check it out for yourself. And thanks so much for supporting the sponsors that support this show. It means an awful lot. I'll tell you more about this cool 49ers helmet behind me a little bit. Those are my friends Green Gridiron. I'm actually rocking their t-shirt today. America's ugliest spokesmodel working for Green Gridiron. I actually just really like the shirt and the logo, and I can't wait to see the customized Plus helmet that they have cooked up for me and that they are going to be shipping to me soon. Yeah, baby. I need some defense for the San Francisco 49ers to get them through the tough times. But as we said at the top of the show, man, there is no pretending that anything about this franchise can just be promised as smooth and have it actually turn out as such. And the Niners are like one of the best well-run teams in the entire league. And look at what a, clunky kind of operation it looks like at times with the holdouts and all that. And they're still pretty damn good at all this. But between the holds-outs, the hold-ins, the gunshot wounds, the freaking, totally underreported, suspicious Christian McCaffrey injury, the smooth start to this year, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So how do you get through rough times as a football team? You go out there and you play some motherfucking defense. That's the secret. I don't care what your football problem is. Hey, put some more defense on that. Well, we're really worried about our offense right now. We got a couple of injuries. We're worried about protection. We're worried about some guys playing themselves in the show. Oh, are you really worried about all that? Well, take 2 defense and call me in the morning. Defense gets it done. The 49ers got a good, healthy one of those. Make it a great, healthy one of those in your next 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks are important weeks. They got to be wins. They really do. Just looking at what you got to stack up now to have the win total you need later, there is no letting down against the Rams. There is no letting down against the New England Patriots. By the way, for those who want to explain away the loss in Minnesota as a trap game, no. The second game of the year cannot be a trap game. Your first road game of the year cannot be a trap game. I don't think people understand what a trap game really is. A trap game is the game that you didn't expect to be nearly as hard because you took your eyes off it because you're in the middle of something else and bigger games and bigger opponent. This is the second game of the year. There's no traps waiting for you in your first road game of the year. That's not a trap game. That was just a bad loss. It was a bad loss to a quarterback you didn't see yourself losing to in a building that, just a city, I guess we should say, that for whatever reason, the 49ers, they land in Minnesota and shit goes wrong. I can't explain it, but it's happened now for 3 decades. What's going on with the 49ers? Maybe we'll get all of our answers in a new podcast that'll be coming to us soon. Have you seen this news around the Niners? Deebo is launching a podcast on Bleacher Report called Cleats and Convos. Okay. An in-season podcast. I can already hear, some old men shaking their fist saying, yeah, you should be concentrating on football, not doing it. To me, like a podcast is the single best hobby or habit that a professional athlete can pick up. Because where you're not recording a podcast? You're not recording a podcast in the club. You're not recording a podcast while you're out chasing women. You're not recording a podcast at 4 a.m. when you should be in bed getting a good night's sleep. Like, to me, podcasts are pretty much, the word I'm looking for is benign, right? Unless you lead by saying the dumbest, most inflammatory shit in the world, which is why I guess Kyle Shanahan probably isn't in love with this idea. Is Deebo going to tip any pitches? Is he going to divulge any part of the game plan? I mean, I'd be surprised if he did, but that's probably what Shanahan's worried about. But he's going to have Brandon Ayuk on as an early guest, and only time will tell if we get anything interesting extracted there. To me, what's most surprising about all this is I never really fancied Deebo a talker. Like Ray Ratto and I did a pretty, infamous interview with him where he no-commented me and Ray about 6-7 different times during the interview. Now, that was right after he had signed, after the holdout, and it was a little weird and all that. So, maybe that was a problem. But I just don't see how Deebo Samuel is going to be, at the epicenter of interesting conversation. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe only time will tell. We'll see. But I'm surprised. I didn't really imagine him as a talker or someone who would want to do a podcast, but he was, a weekly guest on the Kay Adams show, and he's probably looking around saying, everyone else is doing this. Everyone else is starting to make money with this. Maybe I can too. All right. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what it sounds like. All I can tell you is that if you want to see a bad loss, all you need to do is watch Monday Night Football last night. Right before Saquon Barkley dropped a breadbasket catch, which would have ended the game basically for the Eagles, I was starting to put the boys to bed. It's Dreamforce week for Salesforce employees, which means it's Jillian's Super Bowl this week. My wife is out there crushing like 16, 18-hour days right now. So she leaves before anyone else in the home is up and out of bed, and she's been coming home late. She came home late last night. So there's a hard-working woman right now, which has just me and the boys. It's like she's basically not even here this week. So I am feeding, bathing, putting the kids down, and doing it all myself. And so I missed the end of the Eagles game. And I walk back in the room, and I see that the Falcon, I'm like, whoa, what happened? What the hell happened? So I jog it all back. I watch it all. And look, you can trace this bad beat back to a choice of passing up a field goal early in the game. Sirianni's probably catching an awful lot of heat in Philadelphia today. Saquon Barkley, again, he dropped a pass that had Peyton Manning pacing, doing the Manning cast. Like he got up out of his chair and he was holding his forehead going, what? Why? Peyton Manning as a quarterback is clearly allergic to breadbasket right in your hands drops. Cousins, he was great on the game-winning drive. He completed over 80% of his passes, throwing for more than 70 yards and a game-winning touchdown. How about this? OptaStats says that no other NFL quarterback in the last 30 years had done that on a drive that began in the last 2 minutes with no timeouts on the road with his team needing a touchdown to erase a deficit. So Kirk Cousins did something we haven't seen in 3 decades. So, yeah, I kind of thought that game was in the barn. And when it comes to winning a big primetime game with a darn near, haven't seen it, a lot of you in your lifetime drives in the fourth quarter, primetime Kirk Cousins has never been a real good friend of Kirk Cousins. But he got it done. All right. Not even Big Dom could help the Eagles with that one. Sorry. Frickin' football's hard, man. Football's hard. Look at Carl. He's saying, hey, how about a little podcasting home and home with Deebo and the Plus? Yeah, let's do it. Carl, if you could book that for me, that'd be great. Sean Turner, Monday Night Football was awesome. I wish I could have watched it in real time. It's always bad when you know that how the movie ends and then you sit down to watch the movie. To watch it all unfold and not jog back on the DVR, that must have been a hoot. I knew the outcome before I saw what happened. It was still pretty interesting, though. Hey, look at that. We're going to throw a diller in the ganja jar. Thank you very much. Craig's Kitchen 360. Oh, we appreciate it. Big Dom, right? There you go. Big Dom. Yeah, I am totally Mr. Mominant right now. Morris. I am Mr. Mominant big time. By the way, freaking love it. Freaking love I love it. I love it. I told Jillian, hey, if you could go on to be the CEO of Salesforce and just be the kick-ass breadwinner in this family forever, I'll host my stupid little YouTube channel and take care of the kids and Mr. Mom the shit out of this household. And I love it. I really do. Being a dad's the best freaking job I ever had. Second best job I ever had, most fun anyways, doing a job, is this right here. I'm happy as a clam. I really am. This has been great. Freaking Ozzy's licking kids at kindergarten. I was like, he's licking other kids. I told Ozzy, how do you sit down and explain to a 3-year-old, stop licking people. Stop licking kids. That'd be great. That'd help. I don't want to get this message anymore that you're licking other kids, Ozzy. But he's going through a big doggy phase. Ozzy thinks he's a dog. A lot of 3-year-old boys thinks they're dogs. Apparently, Puff Daddy's a dog. We'll get to that in just a second. But it's licking is abnormal and normal all at the same time at that age. So that's what we're doing. We're potty training. We're trying to dial down the licking. We're trying to keep calm. We're trying to do better than just chicken nuggets, frozen chicken nuggets every night. I think I got it down. I think I'm doing a pretty good job, all things considered. One last NFL note before we start looking around here, okay? One last NFL note. Quarterback play across the NFL has been pretty bad so far. The entire rookie quarterback class has been shut out of the end zone so far. Been a couple rushing touchdowns, but 0 passing touchdowns. So if you're a rookie quarterback in the NFL so far, you have not thrown a touchdown pass. God, did you see that the Panthers have benched Bryce Young? I mean, they are equal parts terrible franchise. And he's played himself into a benchable conversation. But to see the number 1 pick in the draft get benched after the second start of his second year, like I wonder if Bryce Young is even going to be on this team. He's 2-16 as a starter. He's thrown for just 122.5 yards per game, the lowest of any quarterback in the league so far. No touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's second to last in the NFL with 4.4 yards per pass attempt. Dead last in the same category last year. So there is no steady improvement that you're seeing from your young quarterback. But tell me, riddle me this. What is Andy Dalton going to get you? Andy Dalton, the backup quarterback. Andy Dalton is going to start against the Raiders. Dave Canales probably had his owner, David Tepper, come in and say, bench the kid. It's just, it's so easy to tell who's good at this and who's bad at this. And the Carolina Panthers are bad at this. You want to know how I know they're bad at this? They're the team that traded Christian McCaffrey and drafted Bryce Young in the first place, knowing that he was going to be a project. And a handful of games into the project, you're going to give up on it? I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think it would be a fun for any Carolina Panthers fan, but worst case scenario, Bryce Young sucks so much that you get a great draft pick again at the beginning of this year's draft and you start it over. Like, what are you doing going from Bryce Young in a nothing to chase other than his development, unless you are so thoroughly convinced that he's the wrong guy for the job? And that's it. And if they are, not good. Can we appreciate Brock Purdy? Can you see how much the number 1 overall pick in the draft can fall on his face, and the last pick in the draft can, not fall directly on his face? Football is hard. It's unpredictable. Anyone who wants to tell you this guy is a prospect is going to be blankety blank, don't listen. Don't listen. Nothing proves whether you can or cannot play in this league until you're playing in this league. Brock Purdy was doubted. He starts playing in this league, and holy shit, what do you know? He's really good. Bryce Young was so believed in. He was the number 1 pick in the draft. He starts playing in this league, and he might not be able to be a professional quarterback. Absolutely going to score the Carolina Panthers in the grade and the curve against him. New faces and new places. Sam Darnold was a Carolina Panther there for a minute. How'd that work out? Not well. So it ain't easy being on a bad football team. 49ers have a good football team. But you can even see how that ain't easy. There's nothing easy in this league. Freaking savage out there. See, passing touchdowns are down through 2 weeks. Going back to 2019, through 2 weeks of play, there were 105 touchdowns. 2020, 110 touchdowns. 2021, again, 110 touchdowns through 2 weeks of play. 2002, 105. 2023, it fell out to 86. And now that Monday Night Football is in the books, we have our touchdown total through 2 weeks in the NFL. We have 69 touchdowns. Passing touchdowns. These are all passing touchdowns. So quarterback play is starting to bottom out right now around the league early on. Is that because the defenses are ahead of quarterbacks who sit out preseasons more often than not, so they're not coming into the year tuned up and ready to go? I told you this on Wake Up when I was talking with Kruger yesterday, and we're going to have another one for you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. But, This league is so unforgiving. It's so unforgiving that what we're looking at with Brock and complaining about as he's leading the league in passing yards is a little nuts. It's a little nuts. Even as things feel like, oh man, it's not good. Not good for the 49ers. The 49ers are so better set up for success than most teams in this league could even dream to be. Week 3 gets underway in 48 hours. Patriots and Jets. We know that the 49ers in that afternoon slate are going to be down in L.A. Get the job done. No Deebo, does not matter. Defense, I don't want to see a tick above 17 points, and that should be enough to put them in the win column. What else is going on here? David Ryder. What's David Ryder got here? The Grateful Dead play the Oakland Coliseum Arena on Sunday, 12/13/92. It's also the last time the 49ers beat the Vikings in Minnesota. 0-8 at their place. Oh, my God. There's not a lot of statistics that are directly linked to Grateful Dead performances, but I'm glad it's happening on this channel. So thank you very much, David. David, I know you, Ryder. What else we got? Licking is better than biting. That's what I said, Sean. Could be worse. Not good. Could be worse. What else we got going on here? The chat is talking about all kinds of things. Larry, again, Panthers are just, they're a mess since Cam left. Yeah, they really have been. Since the Super Bowl came to an end, Super Bowl 50 at Levi's Stadium, the Carolina Panthers have shrunk in a way that is staggering. All right. Are you ready for the disturbing portion of today's show? Are you ready for the disturbing? Real quick, we'll go to Dan here, who says, thank you, Damon, for the positive vibes on quarterback play. So tired of hearing freaking out and negative things on Purdy. Again, if you think Brock Purdy cannot play in relation to the rest of the NFL, you have told me that you don't even know what you're looking at when you're watching the 49ers, and all you do is watch the 49ers, because all you got to do is take your eyes and put them on any other football game. And if you walk away going like, hey, Brock ain't that bad, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. But anyways, it's time to move on. Time to move on from some things that are not football, that are very disturbing. Are you ready for the disturbing portion of the show? It doesn't even begin with Puff Daddy, who we are going to get to. But I saw a story today about a 40-year-old man who is stalking Paige Bueckers. She is one of the most popular women's college basketball players. She plays at UConn. She's been a big deal for a while. And this is as the rising tide of Caitlin Clark, the WNBA, brings all of women's college basketball more to the forefront of the sports page and of sports conversation, there is a level of fame and attention that, you always desire. And then there's a level of fame and attention that is officially, that ain't good. And unfortunately for Paige Bueckers, that's what she is experiencing right now, because for the second time in 3 weeks, 40-year-old Robert Cole Parmalee has been arrested for stalking this young woman. I'm not trying to give room for creeps to live normal lives, but I could see how, you got a little too wrapped up in somebody, you stalk them, and you get arrested. If that doesn't dramatically change the way you go about your business to the point where you then get arrested again in just 2 weeks from your initial arrest, gone. I would put this guy in jail until she graduated. That's disgusting. Parmalee previously displayed extremely troubling behavior surrounding Bueckers on social media. Well, guess what? That is the new indicator. You know how if you got into serial killers, you can see some common threads in serial killers in the past. They were abusive to animals. They went out and they did weird things in the woods. This is a sign. Well, online social media behavior is like a new gathering spot for weird, antisocial, you might be psychopath behavior. So you can't just dismiss it's just online and people are weird online. No. I think that's a tell. This guy's posted messages making numerous claims, including one that said he was going to Connecticut to see Bueckers and that he would, quote, sacrifice, end quote, anyone near her when he got there. Dude, that is a red flag. This guy, come on. Parmalee also shared photos of himself posing with a large cardboard cutout of Bueckers in another post saying, "I can't wait to get you into my bedroom, princess." That ain't normal, said the guy with the large cardboard cutout right behind him. Ike, wait until I get you into my bedroom, princess. See how fucking creepy that is? See how creepy that is? What the hell's going on? Here's the thing. It's time for a harsher punishment for creeps and weird people. It just is. We are living in a world where people will tell you, I'm going to do something fucked up. I'm going to fuck up. I'm going to do something weird and wrong. I'm going to do something weird and wrong. I will be doing something weird and wrong. And it's all over social media. And then guess what happens? They do something weird and wrong. I'm just picking up what you're putting down. And what you're putting down is Creepsville 101. In a TikTok post, Parmalee said, what did he say? If I cannot live with a woman of my choosing, Paige Bueckers, then I will choose to die. I will choose to take all of you that oppose me, oppose us to hell and return king. Bye-bye. 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 You ain't among us. You're not one of us. You are one of these incel absolute fucking losers. There's no way you're going to be a healthy contributor to society. Again, we're not talking about some weird, confused 20-year-old teenage boy. We're talking about a 40-year-old man. If you don't know how to not creep out college girls by the time you're 40, that's a gots to go away, right? Come on. That guy's got to go. That guy's got to go. And speaking of our biggest that guy's got to go news story of the day, can we talk about what is being released around Sean Puff Daddy Combs. Holy shit. Have you read some of this stuff? I mean, look, he is facing decades of prison time if he is found guilty on just a handful of some of these things. If he's found guilty on all of it, he might not ever get out of prison in his life. And I don't think that that would be necessarily, look, he's going to plead innocent. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty. I don't think he's innocent, though. I don't think that that I'm innocent thing is going to stick here. And this guy's a major flight risk. He might not see the light of day again. TMZ reported that Diddy has been charged with 3 counts of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Oh my. According to the indictment from 2008 to the present, members of the Combs enterprise allegedly engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, and a partridge in a pear tree. Good God. The indictment mentions how his now famous freak-off parties, as they were called, were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, and masturbated during and often electronically recorded. So you recorded your crimes? I feel like Stringer Bell walking up to the guy in the Marriott, like, you're taking notes on a criminal conspiracy? What are you doing? What are you doing? So basically, it sounds like P. Diddy tried to have porn just reenacted right in front of him in his own living room. The indictment alleges that Combs lured women into his orbit under the pretense of a romantic relationship, then used threats of force, coercion to cause his victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers. And isn't that weird? Like, you're hiring male sex workers to have sex with these women. It's not you having sex with these women. What is going on there? And oh, by the way, I guess nobody told Puff Daddy he can do this. Why don't you fly to Amsterdam, buy a ticket to a sex show, and just watch that? Why don't you get a hotel room in Amsterdam after the sex show is over, walk up and be like, hey, I'm going to pay you guys to come back and do this. Like, I don't understand. I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions here. And I got one thing that I would just like to bring up. What's the point of buying a Lamborghini if you can't drive it fast? What's the point of going to the French Laundry if you're not going to eat an incredible meal? What's the point of becoming rich and famous if you still have to go about like paying for sex? What is the point? You're telling me Sean Combs is not an unattractive person. He's a normal looking person. Like he is a billionaire who could what's the point of being rich, famous, and a celebrity if you still got to pay for sex? Like, that's so lame. That's so fucking pathetic. Like, I don't get it. Now, I get it on this way. Let's say you are freaky deaky. Then you know what? Go to Las Vegas. Hire some straight up professional. This is a porn star. This is a hooker. This is an escort. This is a brothel. This is a place where for money I can legally, put a lamp up this chick's ass and she won't mind because it's all in the agreement. Like, what are you doing bringing all of this to your home where you could be caught. Like, how do I have to teach you how to be freaky deaky? Go to Amsterdam, go to Vegas, go to places that all of this stuff is available and not illegal. What the fuck are you doing? Like, what's the point of having a private plane if you can't fly to Amsterdam and do that there? What's the point? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. What good is being that like that rich and famous, and you still got to like pathetically pay for your sex like some sad insurance worker in a loveless marriage? You know, like, what do you do? Well, I work for State Farm Insurance. How's your marriage going? It's terrible. What are you going to do at the State Farm convention in Las Vegas? Maybe things I shouldn't, but it'll all be legal. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, is there any glory in the orgy that you have to pay for? I don't get it. Seriously, I don't get it. True blue forever right here. He's like, Jake from State Farm. Yeah, I'm not trying to bring old Jake into this. I'm sorry, State Farm. I shouldn't have brought you up. You're just, we are farmers. If they want to do that, I don't care. Allstate, State Farm, whatever. Damon, he's a sexual predator. Now we're on to something, aren't we? And the amount of people who watched this, signed off on it, said, yes, Diddy, I just want to be in your orbit, and I am totally comfortable with you destroying lives in the name of me making money, working for you. Like there should be so many people along with him behind bars right now, right? What is going on? Smiley Dan. Gloryless Orgies is my band's new album. I'm seriously. What's the point? I don't understand. Like, where is there any allure of having some woman come walking across the room and kissing you and making love to you if you paid her to do it? There's no glory in that. That's a transaction. How is any of that fun? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, it's funny. There's a lot of other jealous people out there saw the decent little amount of success that we're having here on YouTube, and they're like, oh, well, he must have been buying subscribers. No. Like, to me, that's totally stolen valor. I would never buy a subscriber. I would never buy a ratings point. I'm too much of a radio old school guy. Like, I would never, ever pay to have inflated numbers on my YouTube channel the same way I would never pay for sex. Sex that you don't earn is sex that I don't get it. Now, let me also say that if I had never met Jillian, had I never fallen in love, had I absolutely never met the person that completes me in my soul, had I been, an incredibly wealthy person, you probably have one of those freaky deaky Vegas parties at one point in your life. Sure, that you do, but to just constantly be coming in and like, every week I have to fly in a bevy of women I'm sex trafficking to watch other dudes bang them in my living room, dude. Just go to freaking OnlyFans. Just get an OnlyFans subscription. Some of the actual details in this are incredible. After the freak-offs, Combs and his victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. Okay. Gatorade. By the way, how hard... That's what she said. How hard is Puff Daddy masturbating to the point where he needs an IV at the end of this orgy that he's watching? What's going on there? What's going on there? As for the drug charges, they allegedly involve the intent to distribute narcotics, including cocaine, oxycodone, Xanax, GHB, which is the date rape drug, MDMA, and ketamine. Like, all right. Like, that's the one part of it, I guess, I do understand. As someone who's never done a drug in their life, I could see how you would, have access to things that you'd want to have extra fun and parties with. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, the indictment refers to what was seized during the raids at Diddy's home in Beverly Hills in Miami. Apparently, they had narcotics. They had 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers and a drum magazine. That's not good. They also found 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. You have 500 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. And you send out the help for 500 more? Is he cleaning out like Walgreens and CVS's of their baby oil and their lubricant and sex shops? Or is he getting like that sent in 50-gallon drum barrels to his home? Does Johnson & Johnson send Casa de Diddy a case of lube every week? That's a lot of lube. This is weird. He's going away. He's going away. What's the point of being a famous, globally recognizable celebrity if you still got to pay for the sex you're having? What's the point? What's the point? I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with your stats. I'm not impressed. Not impressed. I'm not impressed. It's like Farhan. I'm not impressed. Not impressed with the lineup you put together or how you play. Diddy, I'm not impressed with the lineup you put together or how you play. I'm not impressed. Not impressed. Like, are you telling me that as the single in his late 20s, early 30s, Damon, host of Sports Phone on KNBR, got more ass than P. Diddy can? Did that happen? Did I get more laid than Puff Daddy as the host of Sports Phone? Because let me tell you, if I did, Puff Daddy, you are pathetic. You should be able to go to jail for that. You should be locked up for that. It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. All right. There you go. There's your show today. Are you ready for a little history lesson on the way out the door? It's time for you to get historic. Are you ready? Today in history. Today is, as we told you, September 17th. Happy birthday, Phil Jackson, the Zen master. It's amazing how Zen you get to stay when you follow up your career with Michael Jordan by instantly attaching yourself to Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. Phil Jackson turned 79 years old today. Happy birthday, Phil Jackson. Happy birthday to Occupy Wall Street. Today in 2011, the first Occupy Wall Street protest was held in the United States. Some 1,000 demonstrators marched in Manhattan before occupying Zuccotti Park. The movement eventually went global, and it is among the biggest waste of times and dumbest things that any movement ever tried to have. Occupy Wall Street. If you're really looking to disrupt the rich, go occupy a helipad, you dumb fucks. Occupy Wall Street. What a completely douchebag moment in time that was. Whole bunch of trust fund kids named Tristan wearing their Abercrombie and Finch flannels. Like, you probably had more white people with dreadlocks occupying Wall Street than you did any actual ramification on the global forces that are big money. It's just ridiculous. Oh, by the way, every single thing of the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer has only gotten worse since Occupy Wall Street. So nice protest, didn't work at all. Dickheads. I was never a big MASH fan, but I will absolutely give MASH its place in society. MASH, originally a movie directed by Robert Altman, and then it got turned into a TV show. The final episode of MASH was for a long time the most watched half hour of television in TV history. The final episode of MASH, the first episode of MASH appeared today on American television in 1972. And then the other thing that is officially, I just got to stop for this one. Hey, Damon, Occupy D's nuts. Absolutely. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Come on, D's. D's nuts.
Well done. Today in 1849, the original bad woman was born. Well, not born, excuse me, but today is when Harriet Tubman escaped from a southern plantation. She was enslaved, and she said, I did it. I want to help others do it too. Today is basically the day the Underground Railroad started running. Harriet Tubman, bad motherfucker. So cheers to her. Today in 1849, that went down. This show has officially now gone down. Rabbit holes I didn't think it was going to go down, but there's your history lesson. Your culture lesson is, what's the point of being rich and famous if you still got to pay for all your tail? I don't get it. And what good is an orgy that you're just watching? I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I think he's probably going to spend an awful lot of time behind bars. The best way out of Deebo's injury is with a whole bunch of defense against unbalanced teams that the Niners got coming up on their schedule. I'm sure there was something to say about the Giants and the A's, but I wasn't interested enough in either team to even say it. Basketball season cannot join us here in football season fast enough. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today, for the likes, for the subscribes, for the notifies, for sharing the video, for being a part of this community. I thank you very much for taking care of my sponsors, our friends at BetUS. Good to see you, BetUS. And I'm telling you right now, use YouTube 150 to get 150% deposit match on your first deposit up to $2,000, 125% on your next two deposits by using promo code YouTube 150. Get to Ike's, download that app. Do it now. Get yourself to the Dubliner. Have Kenny, the bartender, download you in an old-fashioned way, a perfectly poured Guinness. And the last thing I want to tell you about today is these cool helmets right here. This awesome helmet right here. There are mini helmets. There are real helmets. There are replica helmets. Every single NFL team, every single college football team that you could think of at Green Gridiron. In the live description of this video, go to greengridiron.com. You tell me you don't want one? Forget about getting another jersey. Get a helmet. Helmets are so cool. I cannot wait to see the customized helmet that they are making for me. It should be coming any day now. Can't wait to unbox that bad boy and check it out. Helmets are really cool. And Green Gridiron is awesome. You use promo code Bruce on your way out. You will save money. Check out Green Gridiron. The helmets are awesome. Again, is this a real helmet that Nick Bosa could wear? Or is this a replica helmet for not even a fraction of the price of a real helmet? You tell me. You tell me. You can't tell the difference in a helmet unless you gotta wear it in a football game. Little advice from Uncle Damon to all of you. So check out Green Gridiron, Ike's, Dubliner, Bet US, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone.